Hello, and welcome to this educational video about the power of transformational touch and the role of skilled conscious touch in human health and development. We'll be looking through the lens of zero balancing, a unique and innovative touch therapy practiced around the globe. What it is, how it works, some of the studies and research behind it, and the effect it has on human life. Zero balancing is a transformational touch therapy addressing tension patterns in the bones, joints, and other soft tissues. These tension patterns are those often subconscious ways we hold our bodies that are contributing to pain, limitation, and suffering. The skilled touch used in zero balancing affects the whole person by working with the physical structure of the body and the energy and information that flows through that structure, and affecting the body, also the mind, emotions, self-awareness, and some would say the spirit of a person. Recipients of zero balancing report dropping into a deeply relaxed, non-ordinary state of consciousness, like a meditative state, and feeling a sense of effortlessness, timelessness, and selflessness. Commonly reported results include feeling more connected to self and others, feeling light, relaxed, expanded, pain-free, grounded, peaceful, and more resilient to life's stressors. Beginning in 2015, the Zero Balancing Touch Foundation partnered with the Neurosynchrony Institute in Austin, Texas, to conduct pilot studies on objective physiological changes happening during a zero balancing session, first using electrodermal testing and later electroencephalographic testing, or EEGs. In 2019, the Zero Balancing Touch Foundation sponsored a research study into the effect of zero balancing on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of wellness. This research was conducted as a mixed method phenomenological pilot study involving 16 participants. 4 zero balancing practitioners gave each participant 1 session per week for 4 weeks, and hence the study is informally called the 4x4 study. Data was collected through rigorously designed client questionnaires and video interviews and reflects the living experience of receiving a zero balancing session. A research paper will be published in 2021, and the quotes and videos you see in this presentation relay common themes from the 4x4 study.
It was easiest to measure from a physical standpoint because I think each of the days I went to the gym on the following Monday and lifted weights, and because you're lifting a weight and it's a set weight and you're lifting a number of times, it's very measurable in terms of feeling like I could lift more to a degree that was surprising.
Exploratory studies with the Neurosynchrony Institute primarily used wrist sensors measuring electrodermal activity of the skin, as well as pulse and heart rate variability, as 7 zero balancing practitioners gave 30 clients a ZB session. EEG headsets were later added to measure brainwave states. Neuroscience literature tells us that during deep relaxation, sudden changes in brain waves are well documented, that energy releases are frequently associated with these brainwave changes, and that spontaneous body movements are also associated with some of the stronger energy releases. So we wanted to know if these brainwave changes and energy releases were happening in a zero balancing session in a significantly different way compared to a control state of simply resting on the table. The Neurosynchrony Institute provided data showing evidence of energy being released correlated with sudden twitches and followed by tension reduction. On average, In one 30-minute zero balancing session, zero balancing achieved 61% reduction in stress compared to 12% reduction in the control setting. And this 61% reduction is also measurable through client self-reported experience questionnaires.
Well, the interesting thing is the aches and pains that I normally have, I don't have right now. Like usually my back really bothers me. And it's probably related to other things. And I've been lifting because I've been moving my office, and I'm amazed that my back isn't killing me. Like my body feels really relaxed.
It's definitely helped with being in my body and the anxiety aspect of babesia and Lyme disease helped a lot with that. Really helped with that.
Much has been written lately on trauma and how humans hold memories of both acute and developmental trauma in subconscious tension patterns in the body. These tension patterns can create neural networks that can be continually triggered in non-threatening situations, resulting in disproportionate and dysregulated responses to either internal or external stimuli, and a feedback loop of tension, stress, and more tension. Zero balancing gently introduces new sensory feelings through light traction, compression, movement, etc., that allow the client to relax, unwind, and release these perpetual dysfunctioning patterns. Receiving a zero balancing allows the recipient of a session to have an opportunity for inner reorganizing and rebalancing, to release excess tension and feel the sense of well-being from having their own energy now circulating freely, nourishing their body, mind, and spirit. EEG measurements show evidence of expanded states of consciousness. Notice the changing activity and amplitude of the brain waves during this session. These EEG changes correlate in time to the electrodermal activity and the spontaneous micro-movements in the client's body. Interestingly, when a client recollects or describes their experience of a session afterward, their brain waves show similar expanded patterns. This supports the experience of clients and practitioners that the effect of a session can influence a client's state of awareness in long-lasting ways that affect perception and behavior well after a session is finished.
Feel more present. Feeling like I have more energy. I'm more focused in general. Overall, just having a positive outlook.
Mm-hmm. Taking expanded consciousness and bringing it into your body, because that's more healing. And again, just having the ZBs has shifted my focus. That's the main, one of the main things. It's oh right, this is what it feels like to do something, to have an expanded consciousness thing that's about your that's embodied. That's a good thing. That's what you should be going for, not just to fly off.
The Neurosynchrony Institute also tracked the connection or synchrony between the practitioner and the client. Here you see the electrodermal readings of the practitioner in blue, clearly synchronizing with the readings of the client in red. With intention and attention, The touch practitioner facilitates a connected and embodied inner journey for the client. Zero balancing promotes an expanded state of consciousness in which suboptimal tension patterns, including beliefs and habits, are more malleable, more open to change. The therapist tracks working signs which show spontaneous activation of the autonomic nervous system in the client. Working signs observed include rapid eye movement, belly gurgles, altered breath patterns, changes in vocal tone, spontaneous movements and twitching, etc. The client almost always closes their eyes and goes into a deep state of relaxation and stillness.
I think it was either after the first session or the second session, I was doing some financial budgeting stuff and I couldn't get it to match. And I was meeting with the person at the business office and I was like, I can't figure out why I highlighted that. And then the next day, I had gotten zero balance that afternoon. And the next day, I went in my office and I was like, bing, 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 bing. So that mental clarity really came and I was so aware of it.
I've been to an osteopath, so I appreciate the body manipulation, but there's something, and I'm going to have to say it feels spiritual about zero balancing that I don't feel, I've never felt in any other kind of body treatment. And so for me, it's more of a holistic thing that I come away with too.
The study of conscious touch relates to work in fields like neuroplasticity, resilience, co-regulation, polyvagal theory, and trauma resolution, as clients report their lives and relationships improve in significant ways. Zero balancers use a very skilled form of touch which creates optimal, clear connection with a client. The touch is respectful and safe, and modulated based on a client's own feedback signals. A zero balancing session is like a dance between the client and the therapist, where the therapist's goal is to listen and guide the intelligence of the body based on the natural developmental process of the client, and with the aim that the client becomes more connected to their true self. A primary purpose of zero balancing is to help a person feel better, and more specifically, feel more connected to their own being in a profound way and able to express their authentic, embodied self with ease.
And I used to cry during the sessions. Mm-hmm. And I can remember being like, oh God, I don't want to go and deal with that today. Mm-hmm. And it helped me heal through some things, I think. Things that I don't think, it brought things to consciousness that I didn't even know was there. And I remember.
Summarizing the Neurosynchrony Institute findings, we have collected evidence that energy releases can be measured, that energy release and the reduction of tension correlate with expanded states of consciousness, that there's a striking synchronization between the client and practitioner in a zero balancing session, and that the actual experience of a zero balancing session and its recollection produce similar brainwave changes.
I feel an opening, I feel spaciousness, I feel peace and healing, gratitude.
The client interviews and quotes in this presentation are part of the data collected in the 4x4 study. There were also before and after questionnaires. Summarizing the results of this research, the most common themes arising from clients receiving a zero balancing session include mind-body integration, relational ease, emotional regulation, self-understanding, spiritual awareness, mental clarity, expanded states, cognitive improvement, aligned comfort, and embodiment. Some stats from the 4x4 study. 75% of participants reported feeling more rest after sleeping. 63% had a decreased sensation of tension. 100% reported increased mental clarity after zero balancing. That's a 53% increase from those who reported not having mental clarity before the sessions. 100% experienced an expanded state of consciousness through zero balancing, a 50% increase. 100% reported a better sense of being able to assimilate change and go with the flow of life. For more information or to support our effort to explore the power of touch, contact the Zero Balancing Touch Foundation at www.zbtouch.org. Thanks for joining us.